In the serene hills of Himachal Pradesh lived Vijay Sharma, a respected government employee, and his only daughter. Priya, from the moment she was born, Priya became the center of Vijay's world. Being his only child, every joy, every concern, every dream of his life was now reflected in hers. Vijay and his wife spared no effort to ensure Priya had a life filled with comfort and luxury. Her room was adorned with the finest toys. Her meals were carefully prepared with attention to every detail, and she was dressed in clothing that would make any child feel special. Vijay often watched her play and wondered how fortunate he was to have such a bright, beautiful, and spirited daughter. As Priya grew older, her personality began to shine in full force. She was intelligent and ambitious, excelling in her studies. But she also had a flair for the dramatic and a love for the finer things in life. Her teenage years were filled with lavish experiences, from expensive parties with friends to weekend outings in luxury cars. Vijay, doting and indulgent, never said no to her desires, believing that she deserved the best life had to offer. He hoped that along with this abundance, Priya would develop gratitude. But he also knew that shielding her from hardships would make her vulnerable to the challenges of the real world. Priya's confidence, even bordering on arrogance at times, became a defining trait. She moved through life expecting the world to cater to her whims. And those around her, including her devoted parents, often found themselves navigating her spirited nature. After completing her intermediate studies, Priya moved on to university. Here, she was exposed to a wider world, filled with people from different backgrounds and perspectives. Her ambitions only grew larger. She dreamed not only of academic success, but also of a life where her tastes, desires, and independence could flourish unimpeded. Vijay, while proud of her accomplishments, quietly worried about the kind of man who would one day become her husband. He wished for someone who could match her intellect and ambition, yet also temper her extravagant tendencies. He hoped for a union that would balance love, respect, and practicality of family life that would nurture her without stifling her spirit. It was during this time that Vijay's old friend approached him with a proposal for Priya's marriage. The young man, Amit, was the son of a humble farmer, Rajendra Singh, and a diligent homemaker. Amit himself was pursuing medical studies and harbored dreams of becoming a doctor, dedicated to his education and future career. Unlike Priya, Amit had grown up in a simple household where life revolved around modest means, hard work, and respect for family values. While he had few material luxuries, he possessed an inner richness, humility, determination, and a steadfast moral compass. Vijay was initially cautious, knowing the stark contrast between their backgrounds. But Amit's sincerity, intelligence, and unwavering focus on his goals impressed him. After discussing with Priya, Vijay proposed the marriage, emphasizing that Amit would fully support her education, even after their marriage. Priya agreed, though her motivations were still heavily influenced by her desire for independence and excitement. The wedding day arrived with celebration and pomp, blending the contrasting worlds of wealth and simplicity. Priya stepped into her new home with excitement, unaware that the journey ahead would challenge her habits, her sense of entitlement, and ultimately her understanding of love and family. Her arrival marked the beginning of a delicate balancing act, adjusting to a family whose lifestyle was modest, following household rules she was unaccustomed to, and learning to reconcile her past indulgences with the responsibilities of marriage and motherhood. From the very first days, subtle tensions arose as Priya's extravagant tastes clashed with the practical, restrained ways of Amit and his family. Priya entered Amit's home with the excitement and confidence of someone accustomed to a life of luxury. She expected that her desires and habits would be easily accommodated. And initially, she approached her new life with curiosity and a sense of adventure. Amit and his parents, Rajendra and his wife, welcomed her warmly, but their way of life was starkly different from what Priya had known. The house was simple, the meals were modest, and the rhythm of daily life revolved around routine, responsibility, and financial prudence. At first, Priya treated these differences lightly, assuming that she could gradually bring her comforts into this new environment. She requested expensive clothing, indulgent meals, and trips to upscale restaurants, expecting compliance from her husband and in-laws. Amit, however, had been raised with a deep understanding of limits and priorities. He patiently tried to guide Priya, explaining that while he loved her and would support her education and well-being, the household operated under middle-class constraints. He emphasized that money, comfort, and extravagance were secondary to values like respect, family harmony, and responsibility. This was a foreign concept to Priya, who had always equated happiness with material abundance and freedom. She reacted with frustration, feeling that her wishes and identity were being stifled. Small disagreements escalated into frequent arguments as Priya insisted on maintaining her lifestyle and Amit attempted to enforce the norms of his household. 6 months into their marriage, the tension reached a peak. Priya discovered that she was pregnant, and with this news came a mixture of joy, fear, and anxiety. She realized that the life growing inside her would bind her even more to the constraints of Amit's household, yet, instead of fostering understanding, the pregnancy initially magnified her dissatisfaction. She felt trapped between her old habits and her new responsibilities. Nights that had once been filled with social outings and extravagant experiences were now spent worrying about routines, family expectations, and the limitations imposed by Amit's modest lifestyle. Her resentment towards the household grew, and at times she questioned whether marriage and motherhood were worth sacrificing her freedom. Meanwhile, Amit remained steady and patient. He devoted himself to his studies and responsibilities, understanding that financial security and a stable home required effort and sacrifice. He observed Priya's struggles and responded with care, ensuring she was comfortable, safe, and supported, even as she resisted his guidance. Amit's steadfastness and selflessness contrasted sharply with Priya's insistence on indulgence, creating an emotional gap between them. Despite his best efforts, Priya eventually made the heart-wrenching decision to file for divorce. Believing that her lifestyle, desires, and freedom could never coexist with Amit's simpler way of life. She left his home, returning to her father's house with her unborn child, believing this would restore her sense of independence and happiness. Back at her father's home, Priya briefly resumed her old habits, meeting friends late at night, frequenting luxurious restaurants, and indulging in her past pleasures. Yet, deep inside, a sense of unease began to grow. Her pregnancy reminded her of the responsibilities she could not ignore, and moments of reflection slowly stirred feelings of guilt and fear. She began to sense that happiness derived solely from material indulgence was fleeting, and the true meaning of family, love, and sacrifice remained elusive. It was during this period of uncertainty and tension that fate intervened. Priya's labor pains began unexpectedly and violently. Her father immediately arranged for an ambulance and rushed her to the hospital, unaware of the dramatic encounter that awaited. As she cried out in agony, the hospital staff hurried to assist her, only for Amit, the very husband from whom she had divorced, to appear at her side. The sight of her former husband, now ready to risk everything to save her and their child, left Priya stunned and shaken. Priya's labor began with unbearable pain. Her cries echoed through the hospital corridors, drawing the attention of nurses, doctors, and staff who rushed to her side. Every contraction left her gasping and terrified, her body racked with agony, and her mind consumed by worry for the life growing inside her. In the midst of this chaos, Amit appeared, steady and composed, yet his heart pounded at the sight of his wife in pain. Though they had divorced, the bond between them, the connection that had once brought joy and love, could not be erased. He had been informed of her condition and had rushed to the hospital without hesitation. Seeing Amit there, Priya's mind reeled with shock and confusion. The man she had left, the man she had blamed for her frustrations, now stood ready to do everything in his power to save her and their unborn child. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the depth of his care. Amit quickly coordinated with the hospital staff, instructing them to prepare the delivery ward, while also arranging for the urgent blood transfusion Priya required. Her blood type was rare, and matching units were not immediately available. Without a moment's hesitation, Amit offered his own blood to ensure that both Priya and their child would survive. The hospital staff were astounded by his bravery and selflessness. As the medical team worked tirelessly, Priya's fear began to give way to gratitude and remorse. She remembered all the arguments, her insistence on extravagant pleasures, and the times she had dismissed Amit's advice. For the first time, she truly understood the difference between superficial happiness and genuine love. Amid the pain and chaos, a realization struck her. Her husband, despite all disagreements, had always acted with her well-being at heart. Hours passed, and finally, the moment came. Priya gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The tiny life in her arms represented not only the continuation of their family, but also the chance for renewal and understanding. Amit watched as she held their child, overwhelmed with relief and emotion. He remained by her side, ensuring she was stable and supported, all the while acknowledging the sacrifice she had once resisted. Priya's eyes filled with tears as she turned to Amit, full of remorse, gratitude, and love. She knelt, holding his hands and weeping, apologizing for her past behavior and recognizing the depth of his devotion. The hospital staff, witnessing this emotional reunion, were moved by the raw honesty of human emotion, the vulnerability, regret, and forgiveness that could heal even the deepest wounds. Amit gently reassured Priya, telling her that there was no need to dwell on blame or past mistakes. What mattered was that both she and their child were safe and healthy. It was a moment of profound transformation for Priya. The pride, selfishness, and indulgence that had once defined her were replaced by humility, responsibility, and appreciation for the love that Amit had shown. In the days that followed, Priya's perspective continued to change. She recognized the importance of compromise, family values, and shared responsibility. She began to adjust her habits, embracing a simpler life that honored Amit's principles and the needs of their child. Her parents, witnessing her transformation, offered guidance and support, reinforcing the lessons of patience, love, and respect. Amit, too, grew in understanding and compassion, balancing firmness with encouragement as Priya navigated her new role as a mother and partner. Eventually, Priya returned home with Amit and their newborn son. Her relationship with her in-laws blossomed into one of mutual respect and understanding. She realized that true happiness was not derived from luxury or indulgence, but from the bonds of love, sacrifice, and trust. The couple began a new chapter, united not only by marriage, but by the shared responsibility of raising their child and nurturing a life built on understanding and care. The family celebrated small joys, shared burdens, and learned that patience, empathy, and forgiveness could transform even the most difficult relationships. This chapter of Priya's life marked a profound awakening. She learned that relationships cannot thrive on ego, pride, or material desires alone. True fulfillment comes from empathy, responsibility, and valuing those who genuinely care for us. Priya's journey from indulgent independence to self-aware, responsible motherhood serves as a testament to the power of love, the resilience of human bonds, and the lessons life offers through struggle and sacrifice. After returning home from the hospital, Priya's life entered a new phase, one that required patience, understanding, and dedication. The joyous arrival of her son had softened her heart and clarified what truly mattered. The house that once seemed constraining now felt like a place of love, warmth, and shared responsibility. Amit and his family welcomed her with open hearts, ready to support her as she adapted to motherhood and her new role within the household. The early days were challenging. Priya, accustomed to freedom and indulgence, now had to navigate the demands of caring for an infant. Nights were sleepless, and days were filled with constant attention to feeding, cleaning, and nurturing the baby. At first, Priya struggled, feeling restless and frustrated at the loss of her previous lifestyle. Yet Amit's calm guidance and unwavering support helped her find her rhythm. He encouraged her gently, explaining that the sacrifices she was making now would yield lifelong happiness for their child and family. Slowly, Priya began to understand that these responsibilities were not burdens but opportunities to cultivate love, patience, and empathy. As weeks turned into months, Priya's transformation became evident. She no longer measured happiness by material indulgence but by the well-being of her child and the harmony of her family. She developed a deep respect for Amit and his parents, who had shown her unwavering support and moral guidance. The couple began to communicate openly, sharing dreams, concerns, and daily challenges. Where once there had been clashes over trivial matters, there was now compromise and mutual respect. Priya realized that love was not about obedience or indulgence, but about partnership and trust. Parenting brought new lessons. Priya observed Amit's disciplined approach to his career and household responsibilities and began to model her behavior accordingly. She took joy in the little things, watching her son's first steps, celebrating small milestones, and cherishing quiet moments with Amit. Her former obsession with extravagance faded as she discovered that true fulfillment came from nurturing, caring, and building meaningful relationships. Her son became a bridge that strengthened her bond with Amit and his family, reinforcing the importance of shared values and love. Priya's relationship with her in-laws also matured. Initially, she had struggled with the simplicity of their lives, sometimes clashing with their values and expectations. Now, she approached them with humility, gratitude, and openness. She realized that their guidance, born of experience and love, was essential to her growth as a wife and mother. Moments of conflict became opportunities for reflection and learning rather than rebellion. Amit's parents, in turn, appreciated her efforts, seeing the genuine change in her attitude and the care she provided for their grandchild. Beyond the household, Priya also grew in personal character. She began volunteering in community initiatives, helping women and children in need, and finding purpose in service. She started to understand that life was not about personal indulgence, but about contribution, empathy, and cultivating meaningful connections. Amit, proud of her growth, encouraged her to pursue constructive endeavors, balancing family responsibilities with personal development. Years passed, and the family settled into a harmonious rhythm. Amit completed his medical training and established himself as a respected doctor. Priya, once consumed by luxury and self-interest, had become a devoted mother, supportive wife, and responsible family member. Their son grew up witnessing love, discipline, and mutual respect in action, a living testament to the family's journey through conflict, reconciliation, and growth. The trials they had faced clashes of ego, misunderstandings, and initial separation had strengthened their bond rather than weakened it. Priya's reflection on her past indulgences became a story she shared discreetly with her friends and community. emphasizing lessons of humility, gratitude, and prioritizing family over fleeting desires. The experiences taught her that challenges, when met with openness and courage, could transform character and relationships. Ultimately, Priya's journey was not just about personal growth, but about the enduring power of love, forgiveness, and family. She learned that happiness could not be measured by wealth, possessions, or indulgence, but by the bonds one nurtures and the compassion one practices. Amit's unwavering patience and devotion provided the foundation upon which Priya rebuilt her life, becoming a better wife, mother, and individual. Together, they created a life that balanced ambition with empathy, freedom with responsibility, and love with respect. The story of Priya and Amit serves as a profound lesson. Relationships require understanding, sacrifice, and humility. When both partners approach challenges with empathy and patience, even the deepest conflicts can be resolved. Priya's transformation reminds us that self-awareness, love, and forgiveness are the true markers of personal growth and family harmony. Through the trials of her marriage, her divorce, and the dramatic events surrounding her child's birth, she discovered the real essence of life: not indulgence or ego, but love, responsibility, and the enduring strength of family bonds. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more romantic stories like this. I'll see you again in another new video. Until then, take care, stay healthy, and stay safe. Wishing you all the best. Goodbye for now, and thank you.